Welcome back to Etc. Podcast. I'm your host Victor, along with my co-host
Yo,
Mark. How
yo,
you
yo.
doing, sir? Over there in the shorts and the forces and the white t-shirt.
I'm doing well, Victor, in the button-down blue shirt with
Mm-hmm.
the green cargo pants and the same. I would say they're like slacks in a way. I wouldn't really
They're
call it
chinos.
chinos. Okay, we'll
Same.
say we'll get chinos, and then the Reeboks I see over there.
Yes, sir. You gotta excuse me over here. I got the limp mic this time. I don't know what'll be happening, but it is what it
It's
is.
okay.
Yeah, what's new with you, buddy? How's your weekend? How you feeling? Beautiful weather
Um,
out today.
Good. Yeah. What was it? This weekend? No, it was last weekend, really, but this weekend's been chill. Just relaxing. Last weekend was kind of like a lot because I was moving into, the Franklin Street house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything's kind of, set in there, set in stone, really. So I would definitely say it is official that I am back in the house. Um, but yeah, so that weekend was stressful just because there was a lot of moving. This weekend is like, okay, I'm just chilling, relaxing. Yeah, and I've just been watching Dragon Ball Super, and
Yes,
just
sir.
just seeing what it has to offer, and it's amazing.
I'm glad you actually like it, or like you're
Yeah,
actually
I,
thoroughly
I
enjoying it.
I think what really got me like hooked, and I think really liking it is that it's one of those animes that I guess came back, and it's still kind of like is something that I was able to enjoy because like I already know
You
what
know
it
what was
is.
up.
Like it wasn't something that I had to kind of get like something brand new. Like it wasn't something I had to like kind of like learn or just like try to remember. So that's kind of what like made it really interesting.
Yeah. But good show. It's supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to be coming back like this winter,
Nice.
upcoming winter. So we'll see what's up with that. They got
Yeah.
that. They're bringing back the Budokai Tenkaichi game. They're gonna
True.
bring out a
True.
new John. Hopefully that one lives up to the hype because people have been
Yeah.
asking for that forever. But
I know.
good time, fun time. Um,
What you been up to?
for me, yesterday I was with Quentin. Well, yesterday I worked early in the morning. Then I left work immediately to go with Quentin. We drove all the way to Hershey, PA. So we went to a comedy show in Hershey, PA, to see these
Nice.
comics that he really likes. Like a I'm a fan of like one of them. His name is Shane Gillis. But other three, I'm aware of them, but like Quentin is like he's like every day. Like I
Gotcha.
listen to these guys. Like these are my peoples. So he was like really pumped for it. I was pumped for it too to see Shane Gillis because he's fucking hilarious. He's a guy from like who's from that area. He's from PA, but he's
Okay.
like really good. And yeah, he's having a lot of success. It was like seventh. It was like the place was like sold out and shit. It was really
Nice.
cool. It was literally across the street from Hershey Park, and
Should have just went over there afterwards.
yeah,
Got some Hershey bars.
nah. So it was like 7,000 people, I think they said,
Wow.
and I was just like, oh, like that's really like I'm happy for him to see him like be able to do that, and he got his comics with him, whatever, and it was a good time. But then I was just like, yo, we parked up, we start walking in, and there's like obviously whenever you go to a stadium or a game or anything, you see like everybody filing in to the security check. 7,000 people there. I think I can confidently say at least 10 of them were people of color. There was so many white people, bro.
So
It
that's what you
was
meant by Quentin's people.
yes, exactly. If you ever talk to Quinn about like what he'd be watching or what he'd be listening to, he'd be like, yeah, like I was listening to this podcast with this person, and it's always just a group of like three white guys on a podcast mic.
On a
Or
podcast
more
mic.
or more, which is very dangerous. Some of them I will give him credit that some of them are actually funny. Like there's some that I'm familiar with. I'm like they're good, and there are others that I'm not so familiar with. So I don't know what he's listening to. Be honest with
Mm.
you, I can only defend him so much.
I can only
Um,
defend him so.
so yeah, so I was watching the show. So we went to the show. I was starving because I left work and then immediately just went up there. And it was a 2-hour drive. So by the time I was there, I was already hungies. And then I went in
True. True.
there and every line was full. But I was like, yo, I don't care if I spend $20 on 5 chicken tenders. I'm gonna do it just because
I'm gonna do it.
I'm starving right now.
I feel that.
And I did it, and it wasn't worth it, but I needed it. You know what I
Got you.
mean? It was
Got
just
you.
like, yo, like
If
this
you weren't hungry, it was probably like a 5, 6.
easy.
But since you were, it made it like a
I
9.
had that, and I had my regular cup of soda. He got his crab fries. But they
Gotcha.
weren't
Gotcha.
actual crab fries.
Damn.
It was just
I
like regular.
figured. I'm
Yeah,
like, I
they
don't
just put
know.
a little sprinkle on there.
I
But he
got
said they
you.
were good, so I'll take his word for it. He didn't finish them though, so there's also that.
I like those
Yeah.
nachos. When we were at whatchamacallit, I forget the place.
Chili's.
No. Rosie's, I believe. Remember we were out there?
Rosie's.
It was like the
Oh,
bar
Rosie's
boy.
Taco Bar.
Yeah, yeah,
Those were
yeah.
like legit like
No, they
nachos though. That
weren't,
was
but
like
that
a
shit was like this
they put
big.
like
It was
they
like a piece of tray and they put
yeah, bro.
nachos on it.
They put like steak and all that stuff. So I get that. That that was just like limp fries and
True,
some
true,
salt
true.
and pepper and paprika on it.
Paprika, paprika.
But yeah, so we got our food, sat down, and then we picked for whatever reason we picked the row that everybody sat in too, because we had the edge seats and we had to get up, no exaggeration, 15 times.
That's annoying.
Quinn was fed up because we were high up too. We bought like it was a comedy show. I'm like, I'm not trying to, I don't got to be close to the comedian. They got speakers in there. I just gotta hear the jokes.
True, true,
So
true.
we was in the fucking nosebleeds, just like up there squinting, looking at the
That has to
screen.
be so annoying though.
But yeah, he was like, one, he was already scared because like, yo, I'm afraid of heights, and like the way it was, like, it was one of those like high up seats where you feel like you're leaning forward because you're so high up.
Yeah,
So he was like sweating. He was just like, yo, I don't want to do this. And then people kept getting up. There was people they were like, oh, like that's our seats. And then they got all the way down the row and they're like, oh, never mind, it's not our seats. And then went all the way back out. I wanted to fight them. I'm not gonna lie.
like
Happened twice.
how do you make that mistake? Because literally it's a letter and then the numbers.
Facts.
So for you to get in the row and be like, these are not our seats, what letter were you looking at?
And what's funny though is like when they walked into our row, because it was like any stadium, it would be like, oh, like B22, right? And it's like the whole row would be 22 to 30 or whatever. So Bull came up to Quinn and was like, yo, what letter is that? And like, what seat are you? So I know which way to go.
So annoying.
And we were like, he was like, this is H25 and 26. So he was like, oh, that's our seats. And it was just some random empty seats. And it's like our row was like, we're the start. So it was like H25 to like H35. And he was like H12. So like, bro, you're going the wrong. I was like, I really want to like push you down this fucking this steep ass thing that we're
I
on.
really want to go against my morals right now.
Yeah. And then people kept getting up for. I'm like, bro, like just buy all your shit before you sit down, like we did, and we just watched the whole show.
Like I ain't gonna lie, like it's a bit different, but I'm gonna say it's kind of. But like when I was at the Eagles game last time, you know, there was kind of that where but much people kept like the guy would get like one beer and come back, and then literally like 2 minutes later get up to get another beer. I'm like, bro, if you want to be an alcoholic,
just double fist
cool.
it.
I don't care, but you don't need to go and do this back and forth. Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get up every
And
time.
at least in stadiums, you can do the row hop thing if there's space.
If there's space on the other, yeah, but like there really wasn't, and it got
Yeah.
me annoyed sometimes because he's just like constantly like, oh yeah, let me get up, guys, and I'm just like, okay, it's fourth time now, bro.
Right.
Like you couldn't pregame before this.
Yeah, and people were like tailgating this comedy show. I'm like, bro, that's how you know nothing happens in the middle of Hershey, PA. There was people
Wow.
tailgating and shit, and then we couldn't do like the seat row hop thing because it was literally a wall. Like we were at the top, bro. Like
literally the back.
So, and they kept trying to do that because there was space behind us. But I'm like, it was these two girls that kept doing it. It was like, look, like you're annoying, but like I'm not gonna like this is too much. Like we'll just stand. Like it's all right.
I'll just sit on the steps.
Yeah, bro, I wanted to, but the street they were so disgusting. There was like ketchup and shit everywhere. I was like, yo, I'll legit sit there and I'll be 100 times more comfortable. Cause we got there and it's literally the last two seats in the row. And it's like this is like the out to where the stairs are. So this was 25, this is 26. We got there. Quinn was like, go ahead, sit in 25. I was like, bro, you sit in 25. He was like, fuck you, I'm not sitting in 25. I was like, I'm gonna be so uncomfortable. So I had to sit in 25 because I'm the little skinny twink friend. So I had to sit down.
Gotcha.
And Quinn's just uncomfortable because stadium seats are not built for all sizes. So
true.
mind you, he's like on the edge. He got a little bit extra room. I'm sitting there like I have no nuts, and like I'm like a mother of two because I'm sitting there with my drink like this with my legs like pinched against each other, and I'm just like, yo, this is like uncomfortable, but like it is what it is. But I was just like watching the show doing
So
that.
the whole thing was full too, like past y'all.
Yes, everything was full. When we sat down, we got there and we are like, yo, like we'll wait till everybody says wait till the show starts. When there's space, we'll just find an empty area and just do that. The whole place was packed, bro. People were still moving. I'm like, yo, like these are new people. Like, how are you? There's no way this many people were sectioned up here. We watching you could see, like obviously there's like a spotlight on the stage, and you can see everything. But then you see all the sections. I'm like, yo, everybody's still walking around. Like, after some point, like the beginning, like first half hour, it's like, all right, people were like just getting in, just getting their food. After that, everybody sat, unless like one random person goes to the bathroom. It was like everybody was just socializing and shit, walking around. I'm like, bro, like,
I think
stay in your seat,
I
pop. Like,
think what it is because it's like a comedy show type of thing because the same thing kind of happened when I went to see Trevor Noah, where it's like the same thing. Like it started, but people were still just kind of moving, and I'm just like, yo, like
This ain't a sports game where you could come back and see the score. Like, you gotta hear start to finish
exactly.
to understand the joke.
Like I know the speakers might be kind of loud, but at the same time, like don't be trying to keep getting up,
Yeah,
moving around. Like just sit down. Like take
like,
it like you're watching something on Netflix
like
and
what y'all,
just
yeah, what y'all come here for? And then me and Quinn, for whatever reason, we gotta go with you to a comedy show. We gotta invite like you and Emily come out with us or something because we've gone to 4 already, I think. And every time we go, the section we're in or the table they were at is dead, and me and Quentin are in tears laughing, bro. Every time. We're like you know how people are like, oh, like or like black people or people of color, like they always like laugh like loud or over the top. That's us. Every time. We're like arm like pushing each other, like fucking stomping and shit, crying.
it,
And then all these this the 6,990 white people are just staring and we're just like all like quiet and like boring and shit. I'm like, yo, these are y'all peoples. Like, you
I
don't
could
find this
just
shit
I
funny?
could just picture like if it's from a view from the comedian and then he says the joke and all you hear is y'all just like
Dead
ha
silent, and we're
ha
in the fucking
yeah.
nosebleeds.
Oh
And Quinn
shit.
got the
Yeah.
laugh when he's dying. So it's just
Yeah.
everybody just hears that, and we're just like, damn, bro, like, do y'all like these people? Why'd y'all come
True.
here?
At this
Like,
point, y'all can leave it. We can take
yeah,
y'all
like,
seats if y'all not gonna laugh.
yeah, like, why are y'all here for? And that's literally 3 shows prior that we had the same situation happen where it's just like we'll sit there and we'll enjoy the people that are there. Even like, I'm not gonna lie, like even with this show, like I like to not force myself to laugh if I'm at this show because I feel like when you pay for a show like that, you feel like, oh, I paid for this. I'm gonna laugh at everything. I'm like, nah, you gotta get me to laugh.
This is
Like
true.
that you're gonna earn a laugh out of me.
I'm the same way.
I'm not giving you a pity laugh right now. You gotta like really get me.
Yeah, I'm the same thing with no matter
Mhm,
what. Any joke, it could be you or it could be someone who's super famous. Like, I don't just
mhm.
laugh to just
Yeah,
laugh. Like, especially like it'd be different if I was like you're in front of me and I'm like, oh, trying to be nice. Like, I'll give you a fake laugh.
yeah.
But you could tell if I'm really laughing, like you will know.
Yeah. So I'm just but I feel like once you pay for seats or stuff like that, people have kinda like there's kinda like that you're in a crowd and you hear other people that's like, "Oh, I'm gonna laugh too." It's like, "Nah, like,
I'll be like,
you gotta
hmm.
get me."
I'll be like,
Yeah,
hmm.
like and there were points in the show where it was just like some parts were like silent for people. I'm just like, "You gotta come ready,
It's
bro."
okay,
Like,
bro. It's okay. Just
power
next
through.
one,
Yeah.
next joke.
Cause they
Go.
were I'm not gonna lie, like, cause the guy that I knew of and like I wanted to see, like, he was like the main event or whatever. And his homies, like the people he had come out, they had their moments. But like I was telling Quinn, I was like, yo, the gap between him in terms of funny and like being a good comic and the others was so obvious. Cause that guy came out and everything landed, bro. Like no matter what, like he just hit after hit
Yeah.
after hit. And I was just like, damn, like, cause the other guys, I didn't want to force it either. And like there were some moments where they got me, but then others was just like, all right, this is very cringy, or like you're trying to be like super raunchy right now.
Yeah.
One bull was like, I'm gonna tell you one joke just because. So, and I'm happy they did this because I don't like on TikTok or Instagram now you see a lot of people just their whole shit is just crowd work where they just talk to the people on stage. It's like, yo, you had
Mhm.
nothing written, like you just freestyling everything.
That's a skill
But
though.
yeah, it is good, but it's like, all right, like you're kind of risking it there. Like, what if
True.
nobody is out there who's willing to play along?
I'm thinking of the Sean from 22 Jump Street when they went into the comedy show and he was like, "Your mom." He was like, "Okay, guys, come on, give us a real place." Yo, that shit had me dead, bro.
It's shit like that. So yeah, the one guy's up there. He's like, all right, I'm about to get out of here in a second. But he was like, oh, he like picked out some guy's outfit because he was like, oh, like he literally just roasted him to start off. He's like, oh, like you got a button up and shorts on. It's like nice, like like nice pick. He was like, oh, like what, you got to go yodeling or some shit, like because he looked like he was about to like he had like a fucking leader hosing on and shit. But he had his girl with him, and he's like, oh, like is this your girl? Whatever. They started talking, and it was just like, oh, like he just asked like, "Oh, do you have tattoos?" And he just trying to like continuously like keep trying to do shit. He was like, "Oh, like oh, you're like crazy, right? You're like you got tattoos. Like oh, you got let me guess, you got like a like you're like all fucked up, but you got like a clit ring and shit like that." And I was just like, "All right, like this is really just like it seems like we're far as fuck. She's up front, but I'm like this seems like it's just not going how you wanted to."
I would be like, with the if I was her, I'd be with the most straightest face. Like, is this the joke?
Yeah.
Like,
But then it eventually it builds up to the point where he's just like, hell yeah, like you're like he was like, oh, like you guys are gonna have sex tonight, right? Like that's
bro,
like
the amount of times I hear that shit,
yeah.
bro, is so annoying.
So he was like, yeah, and then he was like, yeah, like come all over her face till she looks like a Jabberwocky. And I was just like, bro, like, and there was so many people I guess that didn't know what it's a room full of 7,000 white people. They don't know what Jabberwockies are. Some of them, at least, or most of them. I remember America's Best Dance Crew, Mario Lopez. That was my shit. I love the Jabberwockies. Season one, I still got shirts of them to this day. It's my shit. But they ain't get it. He's like, for y'all that didn't laugh, I'm gonna explain what a Jabberwocky is.
How are
He
you
was,
gonna explain what a Jabberwocky
he
is?
was
Like
like,
it's
he was like, this part was actually kind of funny, but it was like it went over people's heads where he was just like, "Oh, like the Jabberwockies are a group of Korean dancers that they all wear white masks to cover to so they all look alike, ironically." And everybody just kind of like skipped past that. And he kind of being, like all like Asians, but whatever. Some people didn't get it. Um, and he was like, he was like, and cum is white. You got to know that. And he was like, you got to he's like, cover her face. I'm like,
bro, if
he's
you
like,
gotta
explain
explain your
it. It's
joke
not
this
funny
much, bro,
anymore.
you gotta stop, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta stop.
And he was just like, oh, like, because he asked her age too. He's like, oh, you're 26, you wouldn't get that. I'm like, bro, I'm 24 and I know what a Jabberwocky is. You just flopped. Like, move on.
It flopped, and the thing that I don't understand is that I feel like what messed it up the most is, and I feel like this is what any type of like, performance you want to do, you got to really like feel like what the crowd is. Like if you know you're
Yeah.
going to this place, like if you're not from PA, understandable, I guess, but like
But the main comic is, like, he'll tell you, like, what you're getting into. And some people know.
exactly, like you got to understand like who you're saying these jokes to. You can't say something very very specific. You gotta say things more broader so
Yeah.
everybody can understand and, like, feel for it. If you're just gonna say something specific, it's gonna go over a lot of people's heads. You're probably
Yeah.
gonna get one person laughing.
Yeah. And at the same time, like, you also can't cater to people. Like, you got, like, if whatever your bit is, you got to stick to your shit and, like, stand by it. So I get that as well. You don't want to, like, fold up. Because that's also corny, too, where you're just kind of, like, pandering to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they also like knew what was up. They were just kind of, there was one point, I think this was the same guy or it might have been another I think it was the same comic that I was just talking about, or it might have been doesn't matter. But I don't know how they got to this point. They were talking about like transsexual people. And yeah, the guy
Alright.
and he was like, "Oh, like we're in central," he was making a joke. He's like, "Oh, we're in central PA, like how many of you guys are transphobic?" Because it's just like the middle of nowhere, like people were racist as fuck up there, like it's white as hell.
Hey,
And
it's a
then
very, very honest question.
And then he was like, be honest. He was like, cheer if you're transphobic. And the crowd was loud as fuck, bro. I felt so uncomfortable, bro. I'm like, yo, y'all are, I mean, it's all these white people here, they don't care. But like, y'all are really bold right now. And then it was like, cheer if you're like not transphobic. And like, thankfully, it was slightly louder than the first cheer.
Okay.
But I was like, that's wild. I was like,
Like
that's a little wild.
imagine somebody who like was for it and wasn't is right next to each other.
Yeah. Or 7,000 people there. One person there at least was trans.
And I'm just thinking like if again someone right next to me, I'm just like, all right, bro.
Yeah, like
We on.
you could tell, like even in our section, like they were dead all night, but they were like uncomfortable at a point of it. Like after hearing, I was like, all right, what are we doing here?
What are we really doing?
But I'm always down for like comedy shows and stuff like that. And I also, although I have my views, I'm not gonna be sensitive on either side, no matter what you make fun of. So it's like if it was a good joke, like I'm a laugh. Like you gotta laugh at shit.
I think the same thing too. I feel like I understand about how people want to, protect certain things on how they feel and everything like that. But at the same time, like
Lighten up.
jokes were never a thing by playing it safe and constantly just
That's the whole point. Is to take something fucked up and make it not as fucked up.
Exactly. And it wasn't meant to be safe and to try to be like worried about who you're going to offend. Like, and again, it's just like at the end of the day, you got to realize it's a joke. Like, this person really could honestly not mean a single thing,
Yeah.
but they just know that it's something that people would probably find funny. So that's why they're saying it. It's not to piss some people off. It's like, but people get like that. So
that's another thing too, because like we've gone to one before where somebody like walked out. I don't know if I ever said this or whatever. I think I have like the last time we went, but somebody like I forgot what it was, but it was just basically he kept saying like something about being woke or like I don't know, whatever. He was on like a more conservative, like he was like, oh, like to be respectful, like to be woke, or like what he said something about like white guilt. And some white lady got up, she's like, no, I can't fucking take this. Like he's talking about like white guilt, and she just stormed out. was like, yo, you're so weird. Like, I hope somebody dragged you here at least. You know what I
True.
mean?
That's what I
Like,
was about to say.
I hope you didn't choose to see this comic because clearly you don't know who they are.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. There's no way you spent your money and said, "Hey, let me go see this guy. He's very funny."
Mhm.
And to then be like, "Okay, you think he's funny, so therefore you saw previous stuff before, went to this show, and now is like annoyed about it." That's
Yeah,
very weird. Very
but
weird.
it is what it is. Good time. We gotta see. I mean, who's coming soon? I know fucking. Well, I don't know if you don't really like pay attention to them often, but like the guys from Walden Out, like DC Young Fly and
I see
like
them
85 South Show,
sometimes.
they're coming in like June for like the Leo Court. They're doing like their 85 South Show, I think, or they're just touring together. And that looks dope. And there's another one with like some other. There's a whole separate show, like a bunch of them as well. That looks interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm down for a laugh. As you heard earlier today when we were recording,
I know,
I
bro.
was in tears. Like
Were
when
you?
I,
I can. We got to get back to doing face cams on some of our videos because
yeah,
that I feel like
don't.
for me Discord mutes it when
Okay,
you like high pitch laugh or you back away. So I don't know. So
no,
I
yeah.
just be I'm like I like will make a joke and then I hear like it'll be silent and then you'll come back and I hear you like wipe a tear or like or like come back.
Bro, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, bro, I wish my camera was on because you do not understand. Like, I was crying. Like, it was so hard. I had to literally back away and I didn't even touch my controls because I was crying so much. Like, I was just dying. I was like, bro, this shit is so funny. But
But
yeah,
you guys will see on Thursday
yeah, you
because we
will.
just filmed this the same day before we got down here.
Exactly.
But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's just a good time. That's why like I've been happy that I've been like going to more shit like that this year, even if it's like, all right, fuck it. Like, especially if the tickets are cheap, bro. Like I forget how much we paid for because mind you, Quinn asked me about this like months ago, and like we just bought the tickets on a whim. We didn't even check where the location was. We assumed it was on Philly, and then after we paid for it, found out that it was in Hershey.
Oh, my God.
So thankfully, at least it was like close enough that we could have made it happen. So, but yeah, it's like if the tickets are like $40 or whatever the fuck is like, or even
Yeah.
less sometimes, like so what? It's like even if
Yeah.
it fucking sucks, it's like still a good time.
Yeah.
But comics, comedy, it's always fun. I can't do that shit. I don't know,
Right.
man. But when it's done right, it's like really, really like sick.
Mhm. I feel that.
That was about it. And then I don't know why, but the drive home felt way longer than the drive there. The fucking way there felt like a half an hour. The way back felt like 4 hours, and it was all the same shit. Went to like a Sonic. Oh, bro, did you know that there's a Cartoon Network hotel in PA?
Yeah. It's in
So,
Lancaster.
yeah, so I knew about it as well, and we drove past it, and I never saw it in person before. And I was like, yo, that's fucking fire. Quinn was like, yo, like, why the fuck have we never been here? I'm just
Mhm.
like, because it's marketed towards like children. Like
Yeah.
even the shit that's like around it, like the shit that you can do there is like all for like super little kids. It's like, oh, go to like the cartoon area. Like, you get to watch cartoons in like color. The beds are probably like small as fuck.
Yeah, like my cousins live in Lancaster and they lived really close to that place. Before, I don't think it was there though, like way back because they're in a different place now. But before the place they were, I remember whenever we would like go back home or go around there to probably go like get something to eat, we passed that area. But again, it wasn't there before. So recently when I was down there, I saw it there and I was like, oh shit, there it is. So yeah, I know exactly where it's at, but yeah, I was like not sure if it was really going to be something to go to because
Yeah,
obviously it looks like it's for more kids.
because it looks dope, and like I've seen like videos of it before where they show the rooms off because it's all themed out. But it's like, why is it there of all
Yeah,
places?
it's
You know what I
very
mean?
random.
Like, it's not like obviously there's like Hershey Park up there and like Dutch Wonderland. But like, what am I really gonna stay at the cartoon? Like, I feel like that should be near cooler shit.
I was gonna say maybe like if it's like near like Universal
That's what I'm
Studios,
saying. Like, that's the
and
type of shit that you would think that it would be around, and it's not.
it's literally near just a bunch of grass.
Yeah, like, cause it's there and the building looks cool and it has the sign and it's all colorful and shit, and then around it is just like Danny's like Wicked like Chicken Shack, like, like it's just like all right, like you're in the middle of a plaza with like a Wendy's next to it, like. This isn't magical and cool. Like, you at least gotta have like amusement park attached to it or something, or water park or something.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, it's not anymore. I didn't know that this happened, but the Nickelodeon Hotel in Florida closed like
Mm,
years ago. It was like 2013. It said they closed or
I didn't know
2016.
that.
There's still two. One's in DR and one's in Mexico.
That's so random.
But like that makes sense though, kind of, because it's like I mean, one kids all love that shit. Like kids, you like even in Spanish or wherever it may be, they're still gonna fuck with it. But if you go on vacation, you're gonna be somewhere cool for the kids. Send you put them there, and you're in fucking Punta Cana, and you got fucking SpongeBob.
True.
But like Cartoon Network in Lancaster, what is there for us?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not even in a big city, you know what I mean? Like even if it
Yeah.
was like near Philly, it's like all right, that makes sense. Like they go there for or in New York or whatever, or like Miami, like somewhere
Yeah.
big where it's like all right, there's shit to do around this, so there's a reason to go and stay there if you're taking your kid there for a birthday.
Exactly. Doesn't make
Don't get it.
sense. Doesn't
I'm
make sense.
surprised that it's like open. I didn't see anybody in the parking lot,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. They just had like pools and shit. They had like one food spot. Like it's a hotel. Like it's not even like a place you go for like the day.
Yeah, I don't know what you would really do there that much. Like after the first day, it's kind of like, okay, what are we supposed
Now
to
what? I've seen everything in an afternoon.
do? Exactly, exactly. It's not that much.
I didn't even check how much it cost, but like I was like, it'd be cool to stay there, but it's like, what are we doing up there?
Yeah.
It was a good like I thought about it in hindsight. I was like, it would have been cool because we went up there for Steve's like that area for Steven's fight. If we ended up staying up there because it got too late, like I'm like, fuck it, like just stay there or something. But it's like outside of that, what are we doing here? They probably got like a curfew.
True. I was thinking
It's
like,
all for little kids and shit. Like you can't party at the Cartoon Network hotel.
just imagine you just being wasted coming back to your to your room and it's all cartoon themed.
It's a fucking. And then I looked at it and the rooms that they had like it was like Ben 10, but it was like the new Ben 10. And then it was like Gumball, We Bear Bears, Steven Universe, and I think Adventure Time. It's like there's so many shows you're missing here that you could have did
Yeah.
something with and you didn't. I was like before I looked it up, I was like, yo, we're gonna book like the Chowder Room. Ain't no Chowder Room. Ain't shit in there.
The regular showroom that would have been
Hilarious.
lit.
You like press a button, shit just fucking goes haywire.
Exactly.
I was watching a clip earlier. Somebody was talking about how when Skips found out that Rigby was like cheating at arm wrestling,
He was walking into the place.
he just didn't say shit. And then Rigby had like the little mechanical shit in his arm. He like ripped it off, and then Rigby's like, "Oh fuck!" and he's like, "Come on!"
And he just saw his veins popping through his forehead. I was like, "Oh god!"
He just like slams him through a table.
Yeah, supposedly that whole episode is based off of how Skips kills Rigby because of that.
Yeah.
So funny.
Then yeah, that like it's so funny how that show is always like it's almost like the same thing we talk about like the Key and Peele formula, where it's like you start off at 0 and it just goes to 1,000 by the end of it.
Bro.
Every episode is like that. It's like, oh, like because like come on, Rigby, like let's go to the store and get some cereal, and they end up in the pits of hell. Like
Yeah, that shit's so funny every time. Benson just tells him to do one simple thing, and then somehow it just sidetracks so far. And I'm like, what the hell happened?
and then they somehow make it back with the box of cereal, and then they're just like, oh, like
True.
that was a good day. What do you think, Rigby? He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they're just playing video games and shit.
That's all it is.
Good show. Why did it just like? How does it end? Like, does it just?
Well, I'm still watching it right now.
Mm.
It's very weird. The last season is very weird. It doesn't even take place on Earth. So that's where I'm gonna leave it at. But yeah, it's very weird.
And there's like it's such a because they had like Childish Gambino on there at one point. Tyler the Creator was on it at one point. Like, it's so dope. Like they should do that more, but they don't.
They don't, man. I mean, like, if anything, do that with like make it, but make it more like adult, you know, thing.
Mhm.
I feel like regular show was very like, yeah, it was supposed to be for kids, but majority of it, like I can watch it now and enjoy it because I'm not feeling like okay. Like it reminds me a little bit more of like Rick and Morty, you
Mhm.
know? Make another kind of show
Without curse
like,
words.
yeah, make another show like Rick and Morty, like a regular show like Rick and
Let's be
Morty.
careful. That guy's in trouble.
Wait, who?
The creator of Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah,
He's a little rapey. It's not.
True.
Let's not make another show exactly like Rick and Morty. Maybe hire somebody else
Well,
to do it.
I meant the idea of it where it's a cartoon, but we're like making it R-rated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do that. And they say sometimes some like not what to say curse words on like regular show,
Like,
but they
dang it.
they'll say like, you know, like some stuff.
the heck?
And I'll be like, what the hell?
What the heck, Mordecai?
I think they said hell before and they're like, what the hell? Like Benson getting mad and he just says that. Like, I'm just like, yo, what the heck?
Aren't they like 23?
Yeah, they're literally our age.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Good show.
Pops.
That's how you encapsulate a joke.
Exactly. That's how you know.
put me on a stage. I will crumble. First time that I hear, like, I'll tell a joke and I just, I'm like, yo, I'm like, I'm out. Like, just throw a tomato at me already.
It's okay.
That shit must hurt so bad. Like, cause there are
For
like, there's a show that Quinn has like told me about, and I've seen pieces of before. It's called like Kill Tony, where they'll like call people up. Don't ask me. They'll call people up and like they like kind of like volunteer themselves, or somehow volunteer them to go up and do like 3 minutes of stand up, and then there's like comics up there that'll like watch you do stand up and then like roast you about it basically after. And like imagine being up there and like you swear like you have all this confidence in the world, but you know like you're not funny, but you're just like overly confident. You thought you could do it because you thought it'd be easy. You go up there and you like tell 5 jokes and then nothing hits, and you're just like, fuck. But
I'm gonna go.
yeah, how about I just retire right now? That's a good way to like. He's like, oh, like I really want to do comedy, and then I mean, that's what weeds out like 90% of them, where it's just like, all right, I bombed. Like this ain't for me. And there's people that like, I bombed. I'm gonna go do this 100 more times until I get it right.
True, yeah.
So it is what it is. But somehow we like did a whole episode that went by really fast. So we're gonna walk up out of here. Mark, where can they find you? I haven't done that in a while.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Marky Mark. Victor, where can they find you at?
You can find me everywhere at ATC Victor, and et cetera stuff is at Real Etc. If you want direct links, everything's in our description down below. And I also realized it's also been a minute. Mark, when the hell are you gonna get back to streaming, sir? I feel like we do this every 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you still want to be a streamer? Do you still want to stream? Or
I
you kind of turned
do.
off.
I do. I think it's the lack of inspiration. I think there's just
You gotta be the inspiration.
right. You gotta be the Marvel.
Yeah. You gotta lick the Marvel.
I think it came from a lot of one, and like don't I'm not like coming at you or anything like that or anybody. It's just the idea of like not having anybody to play with, that really drowns a lot of like me wanting to do it, because like it's just I don't know, like I don't mind playing by myself, because there's certain games where you can do that and it seems perfectly fine.
Yeah, multiplayer shit
But
is only for so long. You can do it.
Exactly. Like I
Yeah.
could play multiplayer for like an hour and that's
I'll be
it.
here, bro. I'm single. I don't got shit to do. I ain't got nobody telling me to not play, or no place that nobody I gotta give attention to.
Yeah. Right now, since Emily's in Alabama right now, so I got some free time.
There
So
you
I
go.
can do something. But yeah, it's just been like, trying to like play it, and then when I like again, I see my PC there, and then I'm just like, but what can I play? Like I know I have things I can play on there, but how long would it
Yeah.
keep my interest? Because right
Sure.
now, just today and yesterday night, I was playing Overwatch, and I was like, okay, this is cool, But then I got off maybe after like 4 games, and I
Yeah.
was just like, no.
Why don't you do like story games though?
And that too, but I was like trying to think of like games to play, and I was like, I can't really think of it. But then like I remember later on, like earlier today, I was like, oh, I can get the Star Wars game. Like I don't
Yeah.
mind playing that. So that's kind of more where I guess I'll probably like end up like doing it. Like I'll play multiplayer games obviously, but I really was like in the itch more for trying to play something story, because multiplayer just drains you out so fast.
Yeah.
Unless you have friends to play with all the time, you're gonna get drained so fast.
Yeah. And like I'll be sending them to you sometimes, but like Epic Games gives out like 2 games every week, and they'll be good. You gotta Stranger Things is free right now. Not Stranger Things,
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah.
You gotta like just add it to your library, and like bro, my shit, I have like the Tomb Raider trilogy, I got Death Stranding, I got all the like Metro like games, I got all the BioShocks, I got all the Borderlands games, all for free, just because every week I check it like like how we used to do a PS Plus.
True. Yeah.
And I have them there. I just got to download them and play them. But like all those are like amazing story games that they just gave for free because they're old. I have Dishonored, like the second one and the first one for free.
Yeah.
So like you gotta like pay attention to that, and just literally every Thursday, click it, save it, and then just go back to it later.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that
Yeah.
because, like I said, I want to like get into like trying to play like games again. It's just at a certain point, it's so hard when like things drain you out, and then not to mention when a lot of the games that come out are very similar. They
There's just a
don't
lot of-
really.
That's why right now I'm in the boat of just going back and like playing shit that I didn't finish, or I was like, oh, back in the day, like I didn't buy, but I would have liked to play. Cause like those games back then, like you already know they're good because they've been reviewed and played a bunch of times, or you just get to finish a game you never got to finish. And it's a lot of times the older games, like they're just a lot more fulfilling because they were released complete and they didn't have updates back then to save their ass. They just had to
True.
release a complete game and put their love and heart into it.
Yeah.
So I feel like going back and like playing older games, as long as they're good, I feel like it works either way.
Yep,
but
yep.
Yeah, hopefully I don't got to have this talk with you again in 6 months and you're actually streaming consistently. But we love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.